Welcome everyone to Thrashcast episode 67. And tonight, as you can see here, Jim and myself are back. And of course, last week we had Jason filling in, and Jason's back this week, and he's picked our album for tonight. So we will be doing Celtic Frost Cold Lake, the infamous Cold Lake, where I know most people hate it, but you'll find at least two of us on this panel really, really love it. So we're going to get into that.
Warm enough.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Yeah. Sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to preclude you. I mean, obviously, of course. So before we start, though, I just wanted to quickly address our third partner in crime, which is Billy. Billy is dealing with some health issues, so we wish him well. He may be out for a little bit while longer. So Billy, on the behalf of Thrashcast, Jim, and of course Jason, we wish you the best of health, best of luck. We want you to get better, sir. Get yourself better and get yourself back on the podcast.
And Billy, Jim has your back tonight. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I know this wouldn't be Billy's favorite album either.
Probably not. Yeah.
I know he wasn't really big on Pandemonium when we did that. So
no, he didn't like Pandemonium.
No. I think
a little
Jim,
experimental.
I think Jim was a bit more open to it, but yeah.
Billy I like Pandemonium. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
So yeah, for us looking for Thrashcast, you can find us at our website at www.horrormetalsounds.com. You can find us on YouTube. We're easy to find there. You can look us up on Spotify, Rumble, and of course we've recently joined TikTok, so you can find us there too. And I believe, if I'm correct, I think Kim said she was going to put a link to Thrashcast on the Allfather site, so you can even find us there. So
yes.
we're going to be very searchable all around the net going
forward,
which is a good thing for us.
We will get that posted at Allfather. Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. So we do appreciate all the love, all the love, feedback. Subscribe, tell your friends,
comment.
Do all that good stuff. It helps us out. It keeps the algorithm fresh. So we do extremely, from the bottom of our hearts, we do appreciate it very much. So
absolutely.
It's all good. So before we start, I know we sort of always like to do the news and what's spinning. There's not much news really. Except I know Jim was mentioning earlier about the whole Roger Waters thing and Ozzy Osbourne, which is just fucking stupid. Like,
oh yeah,
like
pathetic.
Get your head out of your ass. But anyway,
yeah,
I don't know. Very strange. Very, very strange comments. At least
certified asshole.
Son Jack. Yeah, exactly. A certified asshole. But at least Jack defended him. I love what Jack had to say in response.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Close to his dad's. Yeah.
And he didn't hold back, man. Like
No.
I think some people, given the pedigree of Roger Waters, might be a little intimidated, but no, he fucking went there, and good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid. Like, why be a prick about it? Like, the guy's fucking
somebody
dead.
Died, man. Yeah.
And he's got a legacy. Oh, and he even said during that interview, like, he bit the head off a chicken and not a bat. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Get your facts straight here.
Yeah, the guy knows nothing. So keep your mouth shut, especially if you don't know anything.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we can mention that Painkiller is now 35 years old. September 3rd,
Holy
1990.
shit.
Yes, sir. So I have
yesterday.
Wow. We all covered this album on our older episode of Thrashcast. So you can find it if you want to hear it. Jason was our special guest on it along with Billy. So the four of us got a chance to talk about it, which was a lot of fun.
Fantastic album. Yeah.
Yeah, great album.
I can't believe it's been 30 years. Man, I remember when that dropped.
Dude.
Yeah.
35 years.
35. Holy fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 1990.
Wow. Yeah.
I know. It's like hard to believe. I didn't even realize it was 35 years old. I was shocked.
It's insane.
Yeah, man. And then,
oh boy.
For me, before I'll ask you both what's spinning. The new Violator's coming out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Violator from Brazil. They have two albums. They're putting out a third finally, but their first album, which I love, which is like Chemical Assault. This album absolutely killed me. totally love this album. So the new album's coming out. It's coming out tomorrow actually. So I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, on that there isn't much for music. What about you, Jim? Anything?
Yeah, I picked up this one here, kind of a little death metal, some Finnish death metal here with Carnal Savagery.
Never heard of
Um,
it.
This is a 2024 record, and it is fantastic. I love this band. So I think they have, I think this isn't, maybe this is their newest. I'm not sure. I picked it up kind of not knowing. I didn't even spin it on Apple Music or anything. And this just blew my mind. It's aggressive, brutal, some great, and it even says on the side here, old school death metal. It's pretty cool. So it's really good. It's got some great songs like Limb by Limb, Raped in a Coffin, Choked to Death. So it's right up there. I saw it and I just had to, I love the art, so I ordered it, and I've been playing that like crazy.
I just saw the Cryptopsy logo in the reflection.
Oh yes, well that's the other one I picked up. I
There you
got
go.
the new Cryptopsy, an Insatiable Violence, which this is a fantastic record. Fantastic. And I must have listened to this 40 times over the past week. And it is just, I mean, I liked their last one. Their last one I did a review for, but this one I didn't, and I kind of pissed. I should have done it. I enjoy this album. I enjoy this band. So if anybody's looking for a really good death metal, or a really good, just aggressive, brutal metal, like, oh man, you got to go for this. This is great. And
Nice.
I'm always picking up, and I picked up Bolt Thrower. This one here, War Master, it's my second favorite of their catalog, so I'm trying to fill in. This one's just a regular one of those cardboard ones, so it's not really, it kind of, but I was able to get it. I think I might have had this on cassette, or I have it on cassette, but I've been like totally addicted to Bolt Thrower lately. And definitely with all the kind of traditional metal I've been listening to, it's great to get back into a death metal, aggressive, just brutality back into my veins.
Will do it, dude.
Oh yeah.
They'll do it.
And that Cryptopsy record is fantastic. So I suggest everybody, definitely pick it up. It's cool. That's all I got.
Anything you want to recommend, Jason?
Nothing new, just going down the rabbit hole of Celtic Frost here. Obviously listening to Cold Lake, and then digging into some other albums this week of theirs, and then got even deeper down in the rabbit hole with some other stuff. Was spinning Priest's Point of Entry this week.
Oh, nice.
Love that album. I think it's a gem that's overlooked often, a nice 80s gem. So yeah, it was mainly like an 80s week for me.
Oh, and not to put the spot, Jason, but there's a new, I don't know if you guys heard the new Soulfly single, Storm the Gates.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard.
So, I mean, if that's up for review, Jason, put my name on.
Yeah, okay. I got to take a listen.
October.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, I'll take a listen, and we'll definitely be getting that one for sure. So
oh, yeah.
It's yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good album.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. The song is great. I love the song. So
wicked.
I can imagine what the whole album is going to sound like. There's a lot of good albums coming on the next 2 or 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Testament, Soulfly, hopefully Anthrax sooner than later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking to be a good fall. Even
lots of great shows too.
Exactly. I was just saying that. Like this fall, holy Mac.
Yeah.
What a great time for concerts. But it's all good. Okay, so I'm going to hand this over to Jason. He's going to guide us through the Celtic Frost Cold Lake, sir. And when you're ready, you can. I know we had 4 questions, but we're going to whittle it down to 2. So go ahead, sir.
Sure. So just do the setup. This has been a long time coming. Ken and I have actually talked about this for months and months and months.
Yes.
So I'm happy it's here. Perhaps it's not the most fitting for the Thrashcast, but I mean, what the hell? Sometimes you just gotta go for it, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it came out in 1988 quick story, recorded at Berlin's Hansa and Skytrack studios with producer Tony Platt, um, who actually, I believe, worked with AC/DC at some point. The lineup at the time was obviously Tom G. Warrior, vocals and guitar, Oliver Amberg, guitars, Kurt Victor Bryant on bass, and returning drummer Stephen Priestley. As everyone knows, image-wise with this album, they went fluffy. Um, Musically, I think it lands closer to traditional
Yeah.
kind of heavy metal with a sleaze vibe to it. I don't like to use the word glam because I feel
No.
like the word sleaze is a little better because it gives it a bit more of a rough edge. And the album does have a rough edge. Like if you put it up next to like a Britney Fox, it's two different worlds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, on release, obviously it was savaged by fans and many critics. Even Tom later mentioned that it was, quotes, a monumental failure. And they actually omitted the album from the 1999 reissues, though it's had occasional reappraisals from a few of the Songer Strongs in various formats. So, yeah, hated by almost everyone, loved by very few. Singles, obviously, you had the Cherry Orchards, which is the now infamous
Yeah.
video of their hideous mugs dancing around and horrible
Black and
hair.
white. Yeah.
Yeah, black and white. Yeah, and I think that's really about it as far as setup for the album. There was a bit of a lineup shakeup after Into the Pandemonium. So Tom rebuilt actually with Amberg, Bryant, and Priestley. And then Amberg was actually fired rather quickly after Cold Lake, and Bryant and Priestley stayed on for Vanity Nemesis, with Ron Marks actually handling many of the leads. And that's another discussion, but I don't think Vanity Nemesis is a far reach from what you have here on Cold Lake. But that's for another discussion. Yeah, so first question. Obviously, you guys do the setup questions here, but first question I have, we're going to do two. Looking back, what do you think drove the band towards such a drastic shift in sound on Cold Lake? Do you think it was personally driven? Maybe industry pressure at the time, because obviously glam was huge at the time, or maybe something else entirely? Let's go with you first, Jim. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of I know you two love this album, and for me, I bought this album when it came out, and I got rid of it. I mean, I was so, like, back then, people have to understand, like, you guys know it. You bought the album, you didn't know what you were buying, and even when I turned it around and I saw them, I was like, weird, okay. But then when I put it in my car on the way home, I had it on cassette. I was like, just like, what the hell is this? Because I'm thinking, and Into the Pandemonium, there was a shift as well. There was some hints of industrial. So I always thought that it was going to go a little bit more in that direction. And maybe I didn't expect it to be thrashy, maybe a little bit more Black and Death with some industrial tweaks to it. But, then being only 17, I was like, my mind was sort of a little bit more unchangeable, and I wasn't but I think it was totally driven. I mean, essentially, Tom had broken up the band pretty much right after the tour for Into the Pandemonium. So this was kind of something they got together, and I think he just had more of a hands-off thing, and I think it obviously shows. I think it was probably definitely pushed by a record company to try to get that, especially that really valuable North American / American market. And and this was big. This was the sort of the look. I mean, the sound, definitely. I agree with you guys 100%. I think it's traditional metal with a bit of a sleaze factor. It is not glam metal. So yeah, the picture on the back shows the guy, with his pants unzipped and whatever, but that was just fluff. And all the bands that are traditional metal kind of went through that. And at the end, we're gonna talk about some of the ones that escaped their albums and did it, and that's just the way the times were. I think they wanted to sell records. I mean, it's cloudy and there's no real gauge on how good Morbid Tales, especially when they turned it into a full-length album, and to Megatheron and Into the Pandemonium sold, because the record, it was the numbers are muddy, but I think underground it did extremely well. I mean, we all know that these guys, early Celtic Frost was the sort of the kickstart for a lot of death metal bands, black metal bands, extreme metal. Just, I mean, and Tom is an absolute genius in my mind, and that's why I think this was such a step outside of what happened. And I'm happy that, well, I'm disappointed that I never kept my cassette. I'm disappointed because I want to buy it on CD now. I'd love to get a copy of this. When he released his box set 2 years ago, I was pissed they didn't have this in there. And I saw an interview and he said he'd never put it out while he's alive. And I think that's just cheating the fans, because I think there is a resurgence of this album now. And I think he should take advantage of it. I mean, it's all about just getting this music out there to the people. I think somebody like myself who wasn't fond of it, I'd like to have it on CD. I mean, and it's hard to stream too. It's not even on my streaming service. I have to go, I went into YouTube to get it. It's probably on Spotify. I'm on Apple Music, but no, it's not even there. They've totally omitted it, which is kind of sucks. But I think it was a mix between wanting to maybe crack that American, the North American market. I think too many other people had their hands in it. He didn't have his hands in it enough. And I think that's just where it kind of derailed a little bit. That's all.
Well said, Jim. I agree with a lot of those points. Ken, I'm going to throw a wrench in it for you. Do you think it's possible that Tom was just trolling the entirety of the glam scene with this album? No?
I like that.
Yeah, no. I say that because it was obvious. The reason why he dissolved the band after the tour for Pandemonium was that he made all the decisions, starting right from Hellhammer and up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always Tom. See, Martin was a good foil, but Martin didn't have the same creative spark that Tom had. So whatever Tom said, Martin did. The two of them built that reputation. So I know, and I've read interviews in the past, that Tom was getting really weary after Pandemonium. And so that's why he suddenly decided we're going to call it quits, because he was handling everything. Like, he handled, from my understanding, the creative side of it, the lyrical side of it, the music. It was all handled by him. And I think that weighed heavily on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that when it came time when Pandemonium ended, he's like, we're done. And he only started this new, like, the only reason why we have Cold Lake, for one reason, is because that Oliver Amberg, who he knew back in the day, because originally Amberg was supposed to be the guitarist on Hellhammer. He asked him originally, but Oliver said no, because he didn't like the style of the music that they were going at the time. So he turned it down. So years later, I guess they've always kept in touch. And Oliver and Platt were the two that really bugged Tom about restarting the band with new members and going off in this direction. Now, Tom has stated that he has regretted giving a lot of the creative control over to those guys. And on this album, we're going to talk about it tonight, but in my mind, Amberg is, to me, he's all over this album. The guitars, the music, a lot of the music is written by Amberg and Bryant, actually, believe it or not. So you could see that. I can see why he got fired right after this. I totally get why they fired him, because it's like, you took away everything that I built with Frost and we turned into something else. Now, Tom is complicit in that too. He needs to kind of admit that, well, I fucked up. I know he said that. But I don't think it was about trolling the fans. I don't think Tom is that kind of person. Like, he's so repentant about this album that I can't see him being, I'm going to troll the fans and we're going to put this out. I just don't see it. It's not in the guy's nature. And it's been consistent for years. Like, as Jim was saying, like, he talks constantly about, no, album sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a troll. I don't think he was trolling. I think he, for that one moment, slipped up. He let the other band members take control. And you can even, I've even heard people even reviewing this album saying that they can see where Tom is kind of just, yeah, he's there. Even in Behind You, Jason, at the back of Tom, he's kind of slumped to the side, like, I don't care kind of thing. Yeah, just the way he slumped over. It's like, yeah, you could tell. Like, I could see that. I don't think this was Tom's best. But,
Yeah, yeah.
but,
No,
but,
that's some good points.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's my opinion. But,
I think that's good though, Jason, because I think I never thought of a kind of a bit of a conspiracy. I kind of think that way, but I think, I mean, I just this, and the sad thing is that true. I'll get you. We'll do your other question because I think that's part of what I'm going to answer next.
Okay, yeah, no worries, no worries. I was just going to say really quick that interesting note. I saw a YouTube video of someone who sped the album up by 1.5 times,
Mhm.
okay.
and it actually sounds very similar to Morbid Tales and to Megatherion when it's sped up. So there's something to do with just the actual pacing of the music on Cold Lake that when sped up is a bit more familiar.
Mhm.
And I also don't think it's that much of a change from Into the Pandemonium. Like if you listen to
It's
that
not.
album, there
Yeah.
are some clear sleazy moments in that album.
Yeah.
True.
And so some of that, I don't know the writing credits on Into the Pandemonium, but I mean, that's the seed was planted somewhere,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and that seed might have started, into Pandemonium, and then somebody just watered it way too much, and perhaps
Well, I
grew
can
into
tell you,
something big.
Tom had majority of the lyrics on
Yeah.
Pandemonium. They're all written by Tom.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
They're all written by Tom. So, if anything, it's Tom's doing that maybe set that emotion for the whole
And,
progressive side.
and
Right.
just for being the negative guy, kind of, I want to say a disclaimer here first. There's three really good songs I like on this album. One that I like half. But I agree with you 100%. This album and is the sound of it is very down tuney, dark. That's why you
Yeah.
get a. I mean, some of the lyrics and some of the maybe the titles of the songs, and of obviously the way they look, but you don't get like I do not get a glam or hair metal. I mean, yeah, they
No.
look like hair metal guys behind you, but it's not a hair metal album. This is
No. No. No.
I agree with you guys 100%. This is raw, traditional metal with a little element of sleaze rock in it, for sure.
Yep. And that leads us into the next question, Jim. So maybe you can take it. Do you think Cold Lake might have been accepted with different lyrics or aesthetic choices, maybe a darker cover art, something more in line with their more popular albums, different song titles, just anything aesthetic. Do you think if they had
Yeah,
gone away from the pink and purple fluff, that it might have been more accepted?
I think so. I think if you had them even if they went a more traditional sense, like in their look,
Mhm.
I think it was in 1988. It was a very superficial time. These, and back then, like Metallica's talked about it, all the bands have talked about it. The hair metal and the glam, they would get like 70% girls going to their shows, and when you get 70% girls, you get all the rest of the guys wanting to go because the girls are there, whether they like the music or not. I
Good
think
point.
maybe that was a little bit of the direction because at a Metallica show they were saying like we're 80% guys,
Guys, it's all
especially
guys. Yeah.
yeah in the early days until the Black Album hit, and that's what it was. So it's a little bit more of I think a harder sell. Like I've seen Bon Jovi twice, okay, once in their heyday and then maybe in early 1990s. But I mean, like I was much more excited to go. I went because my girlfriend at the time was my wife now wanted to go, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had no interest in seeing them. But Metallica, holy shit! I mean, that's where at the Metro Center watching the Justice tour, it blew me away. And when they sung Green Hell and Last Caress, and they did the covers, and they just blew up the that's what I wanted. I think you're 100. I think yes. I think if they had come out with something that might have been an edgier cover that's a lot darker, like some saw blades or whatever, like some of their older stuff, even with their old original logo, their logo beforehand, I think it would have been great. I think if they just showed up with leather jackets, black shirts or white shirts, high tops, and they looked like maybe a nuclear assault or something, it would have been like, oh, okay. And I think if these songs, maybe some of the titles were a little bit more edgier, I think this would have been a totally different. I think a lot of true Celtic Frost fans would have been a lot more accepting for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree.
Ken, I'm going to throw another wrench in it for you here. Do you think if LA Guns, a big band, glam bands at the times like LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, any of the bands like that had released this album, would it have been accepted by glam fans? Or do you think it's too dark?
No, it wouldn't have been accepted. It's too dark.
Okay, yeah.
I know because my wife is a huge Faster Pussycat fan. And we'd always had those CDs playing in the car when we were out. And it's like, yeah, nah, I don't think so. I just don't. No.
That speaks volumes, as obviously it's different, right?
That's true.
But I just wanted to, I'll add on to Jim, what Jim just said. If they had called this album or the band, that they called the band Cold Lake instead, I think it would have went over a lot better.
Yes.
In my honest opinion. And I think it's simple. You could keep the music the way it is.
Yep.
Don't even change it. Just call the band Cold Lake. Give
Keep the image.
The title. Yep. And I think it would have been, I don't think it would have been as hated as when it came out.
That's a good point. That's a good
my
point.
Honest thought.
And that's a great name for a band, Cold Lake.
Cold Lake. So. I think if they named the band Cold Lake, they would have been fine. Yeah. Then you leave the Frost legacy alone.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Only if we could rewind history and talk to Tom about this.
I love that, Ken. I think if they called themselves Cold Lake, even kept the cover the same, but just they just wore t-shirts and leather jackets, I think it would have been just this would have been a new outcropping of, and even if they kept, who cares about the song? Like, I think even if they kept it kind of the same, maybe ditched a couple of tracks, I think it would have been, I agree with you 100%. I think Cold Lake would have been a much better thing to call them. Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely. That's true. And it probably would have been a very well-regarded album, but who knows? We'll never know. All right, let's get to the track by track, guys. So we have track numero uno, Human, intro, 1 minute and 6 seconds. Essentially just a soundbite to open up the album. Ken, why don't you start us off with Human intro?
Yeah, it's just an extension of Into the Pandemonium to me. You could put that on into Pandemonium easily. I think it's got, there's a little bit of rap, there's some samples. Like it's kind of okay. I don't really know. In context of what this album is, I don't know why it's there.
Yeah, me too.
It's a bit weird. Like, you're going to open your album with this? Like, I like Mexican Radio. I like One in Their Pride. I think those are great songs. But if you're getting that kind of vibe from Pandemonium, I don't get it. It doesn't really work in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah. But then, if you remember, they started Mexican Radio on Pandemonium, which I think is even odder. I like the song, but
to put it as the first song was strange.
It was Mexican Radio was the first song on the album. Yeah. You're starting off with that, so they don't have a habit. You can see there's a kind of a habit on these two albums. Like, you're opening up your albums with songs that are debatable. Yeah, and this is not even a song. I don't even know what you want to call this.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, these types of bands, they would typically open their album at least with a single, like the first single, or even a second single. So throwing this on straight away makes no sense.
So for me personally, I can see why this album is so divisive. You start with this, it's a rap.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Most people go, what's this rap crap? And
then you got 10% of people immediately turning it off.
Well, yeah, that's my point. Yeah, that's I don't know. I think it's okay, but to start the album, it's a mistake.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for this, I like Into the Pandemonium. I like the second half of the album because that's where I think a lot of people on Into the Pandemonium, Ken, you might be able to agree with me on this. They tend to like it's a little bit more thrashy the first half, and then
Yes.
it starts to get a little more
Gloomy
experimentally,
dark.
but
Yeah,
it gets
yeah,
more experimental with some classical, and I like industrial metal, so
yeah.
I don't mind it. Me and Ken have very similar tastes with that. Like we both like
Yep.
early and we like later Machine Head. We like both like Ministry.
Yep.
But for this, I don't know who decided this. I would have gone with track 4 as my opener, and I would have just left this off. Or left maybe I don't know what I would have done with it, but it's confusing and it doesn't fit. It's kind of weird, and this isn't a weird album. It's a little bit more of a darker sound, but some of the song titles indicate more. I think it's almost like we're gonna come up with some song titles that are kind of hair metal-y, but we're going to make the songs traditional metal. And this doesn't have a spot there for me. It just seems odd.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
yeah.
agree. For me, it was odd for me because listening back to it now, I'm getting tinges of like maybe you mentioned this, but or maybe not, but like Anthrax's "I'm the Man," that type of
Yeah,
kind
I can
of
see that.
silly rap metal stuff they were doing at the time. And I also read that Tom was actually around this time dabbling in rap. He was a big rap fan,
Really?
actually. Yeah, and he was getting into it. And obviously didn't have a place for it in Celtic Frost, but apparently found a place to maybe pop this in
Get
there.
in. Yeah.
So yeah, it does have that vibe, that kind of I'm the man, silly sort of early rap metal type stuff.
And remember too, Rush, even with Roll the Bones. Like
Yes,
I know
yeah,
this
which was
wasn't as
way
big,
later, but
way later, yeah, but still they dabbled in it.
and it didn't work.
No.
No, 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 no.
The only band that can make it work is Anthrax. I'm sorry to say, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
they do
they
a fine job of it.
they dived. They went all in on it though, right?
that's
So
true.
Yeah, and
they
they're
toured with
hardcore
Public
fans.
Enemy, right? You have to
Yeah,
remember
Yeah.
that. So
yeah, yeah.
And I think you're
they,
right, Ken.
yeah,
Coupling with Public Enemy on the other song, kind of
yeah.
it's sewn them together. That okay, that was a really good. Like you have Aerosmith that did Walk This Way with Run DMC, kind of just a pop song. It wasn't anything, but I'm the Man, which was hilarious, and they had so many different. They had the different cuts of it, and then with Public Enemy, the what's the other track they did?
Oh,
Oh,
it was I Am
uh,
the Man and oh
I
shit.
can hear it in my
Yeah, there's a couple songs they did.
yeah. I mean that's genius. I think it was almost like you took the heavy band of the time and then kind of the bad boys of rap and put them together. I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, that tour was kind of a unique thing.
Yeah. But
See,
that's
Tom,
side
I don't
thing.
think Tom had that idea in mind when he was doing this though.
No.
No, 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 no. Even if it was just a passing interest and this was his creative outlet to do something simple,
Yeah.
Mhm.
maybe he just took that opportunity to do that in a very, very odd place as the opening track. All right, so that brings us to the second track, Seduce Me Tonight, at 3 minutes and 18 seconds in length. Jimmy, why don't you lead this one?
So I'll start off positive and then I'll lead to my negatives on this one. Positively, I'll tell you, this album has some of the best guitar riffs of the time you could come up with. This album has probably some of the best intros. And besides the fact that the first song being an intro, this has a pretty good intro. I just think, it's got a really punk sound for me. It sounds like more like a punk track. And even like it's got a really great solo in it. I find it confusing being a Celtic Frost fan. This has got, first of all, the name of the song, Seduce Me Tonight. It's kind of too. This song compared to the rest of the album is a little bit too upbeat. It's really slick. I find and Tom's voice is very slick in it, and it just doesn't get it. I find his voice doesn't go good with the style that the song is. It just there's some his trademark kind of lower end grunts there. There's a couple in this, but it just doesn't fit for me. So But it does have kind of an LA Gun sound. Out of all the songs on here, this is probably the most upbeat one that I would say maybe is a little bit more. I don't know. I wouldn't want to say commercial because Cherry Orchards was their big was their single off this, but yeah, this one was a little bit of a miss for me. It just I found it very confusing, and I couldn't get into it. And I spun this album about 6 times this weekend, and yeah, I just couldn't get into this one.
And Ken, what do you think?
Oh, I totally love the song. I think the song is great. To me, it's like blackened glam metal for most of it. And the fact that it echoes like a lot of glam metal tropes of the 80s. I mean, you're talking about all these heavily themes of like lust, desire, seduction. And I love it. Seduce Me Tonight. I think it's great. It's a very dark song that I don't necessarily feel is not something that they wouldn't pursue on a Frost album, a classic Frost album, just maybe told in the way it is. I mean, I agree with Jimmy. It's got somewhat of a punk vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the solo is really good. That solo is kick ass, and it's got a really good vibe and pace. So this should have been the song that started off the album in my mind. It should have just went into this. I think it's got a good vibe, but I like the song quite a bit for me.
Cool. I would agree with you, Ken. I do like this track a lot. I mean, to be fair to what Jim's saying, I think they hadn't discarded enough of their thrash black metal elements to be poppy glam metal, but they definitely leaned too much into the sound, and it was kind of immediately noticeable. The chorus is really catchy. There's lots of like killer 80s thrash riffing, especially in the breakdown that happens at I think it was a minute 58 in, which has got that really slow kind of creepy swagger that breakdown that you find in like Circle the Tyrants, which is an awesome riff. So I feel like he's playing around with the sound of like Circle the Tyrants era stuff and kind of incorporating it into this poppier kind of format. There's some really killer double bass work here that's peppered throughout. And, I saw a lot of hate online for the solos on this album, but I gotta say, I think they're nasty and gritty as fuck, and I think they fit perfectly. They may not be technical marvels, but they work really well within the context, I think, of the of what they're trying to get across.
I think there's a lot of cacophony, like it's a cacophonous style with the solos, so they're a little off kiltered.
Yeah,
but I think they work for the arrangements, though, in my mind. But
well, I agree. I think the riffing on this album and the solos are the big thing that I like about it. The whole album. It's chock full of them. And Jason, you make a good point there and there's some songs with some really heavy bass in it. I really like that.
Absolutely.
It's almost, I wouldn't say down tuned, but it's most of the album is a lot lower register in the sense that it's not an upbeat album. Like it's not. This song for me kind of got that, probably the most commercial one for me. But I don't agree. I think that there's a lot of people give it hate for the solos. God, no, some of the solos on this are great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree about the bottom end there. The rhythm section is very punchy on this album, and you can really hear the bass. And I think they did a fantastic job with the production especially on the rhythm section, because it does give it that weight that cuts through the kind of the buzziness of the guitars. All right, so we're on to track 3 already. Petty Obsession. So at 3 minutes and 17 seconds, take us there, Ken.
Yeah, I love this song. Again, I like Petty Obsession as well. So the music is written by Omberg, and then Tom wrote the lyrics to it. So, and I think the lyrics for me when I'm listening to the song, it's cryptic, it's very metaphorical. So what is it really about? Some say this is like the band reflecting on their own internal struggles or a commentary on how the pressures of the music industry. So whatever you take out of it's up to you. I think it's great. I think it has the immediacy at the start is what I like about it. I like the ooh that really starts the song off, and then that solo, like when it kicks in, it's great. And there's a little bit of a quick tempo change of a 156, which I like, and it goes, but it's straight. There's not a lot of the one thing I'll say about this song and most songs, there's not a lot of major tempo shifts or changes. They tend to keep it steady and
They
short,
do.
which is
Yeah.
interesting for them because when you think about the first three albums, they're a bit longer, they're much more bombastic, and there's more of a willingness to be, I guess, progressive or changing the style. Here it's they I don't know, I guess maybe they had something in mind and they went with it. So a lot of the songs really all fall in the same mold in my mind. I don't think there's a lot of too much drastic changes in the songs. But I do think this is a pretty solid song, and I like Tom's vocals here. Now I know Billy would hate this song, and I can tell you Billy would hate this song because he doesn't like Tom's vocals, because you get that kind of
On this album specifically.
yeah, because the
Yeah.
goth crooning, because he's sort of like a goth crooner, and that's something a lot of people don't like. It's a turnoff. For
Yeah.
me, not for me. I think it's unique because what other vocalist sings like that? I can't think of any.
I agree. It's wholeheartedly unique. That's unique.
Yeah,
That's
it's very unique. I
yeah.
like Tom. Tom is great, but I like this song quite a bit. I don't have a problem with Petty Obsession.
Cool. Jimbo, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom's vocals is the highlight of this. Plus, it's got a cool chug to it. I like it. Not my favorite one on here, but I find it, and it's got another great intro. I mean, like, almost every song on here has a killer intro and gets you kind of going and goes in that. So this one here is I give it half points for me. It's a pretty good song. I think Tom's vocals save it for me, but I think there's still some great riffing on this song. It's pretty good. Maybe I don't know. It's just the next song is one of, and I'm jumping ahead here only because it's coming up favorites.
Yep.
Yeah, well, this one, like the reception for this one kind of it's been frequently singled out as one of the weaker slimy cuts. So it's not the favorited track on the album, even by fans who like this album. I really like this song. It reminds me of like Poison, Faster Pussycat, LA Guns. It's got that opening riff also has a really nice new wave of British heavy metal vibe to it. The riff actually wouldn't be out of place on an album like Saxon's Destinies from the late 80s. And I went back and listened to Destiny and I could hear similarities. So somebody from the band, probably Alberg, was a Saxon fan. One interesting note, I think, is when I was listening back to the whole album, but this track in particular, there's also some riffing on here that isn't too far removed from what you would hear on Megadeth's So Far, So Good, So What.
Yeah.
There's lots of chromatic ascending riffs. You know those riffs like that ascending riff you hear on like Set the World Afire and Hook and Mouth? Well, Alberg is doing that on this. And it really, really, and even the production, kind of the guitar tone reminds me of So Far So Good So What to some degree. And so I was hearing it, I'm like, oh man, yeah, there are some similarities here that I never picked up on before. And so it does have that kind of thrashier Megadeth vibe to it as well. Perhaps somebody in the band was a Megadeth fan, and maybe they were picking and choosing things here. Tom has actually said in the past that Auberg basically wrote this album just ripping off other bands and ripping off riffs from other bands. Like he said, essentially 90% of the album was just rip off riffs, maybe with some changes here and there. And I can see that. Like again, I do hear the Megadeth vibes here. So yeah, I like this song too. But Jim, you're excited to get into the next one. Once They Were Eagles.
Yeah,
3 minutes and 39 seconds. Take us.
Yeah, this is my favorite one. I've got three favorites on here, and this one's a wicked track. I mean, again, that drum intro is just fantastic, and then it's got more of a traditional, not really a thrash chug, just maybe a more of a traditional metal chug with a little bit of thrash elements for me. And the riffs on this are just amazing. I mean, this has got some of the best guitar riffs on the album. I think it's a great track, and again, I listened to this one, and there's a couple more on there that I just kept replaying over and over again and I'm going to put them on my playlist, a couple of these that I haven't listened to in years. But yeah, this was definitely a highlight for me, and I think maybe if the album, for me, if maybe it was a little bit more like maybe 4 and 6, and another one I won't give away, I think maybe it would have saved it for me a little bit more. But yeah, I love this song. I think it's a kick-ass track.
Nice, nice. And Kenny, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This is a really good song. Written by Omberg and Bryant, so you could hear the musical change. It's got there's a good doomy vibe to it.
Yeah.
All throughout. So I could see this song kind of, it really does hark back to kind of classic Frost in some ways. There's, it's pretty solid. I mean, the chugs are really good. The chorus is great. I love the chorus in this song, totally. And I love this kind of lyrical breakdown where it's sort of about like disillusionment, loss. The idea that your glory will fade once they were eagles kind of refers to this reflection of your memories. So I like how they use that metaphor of eagles as being this kind of majestic bird. I get that. I like that. I like that metaphor. And Tom wrote the song, so you get that with this song. I think it's pretty solid. It's short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And I think that's what I appreciate with this album is that the songs are all short enough that, yeah, they'll stay in your head after. This song will stays in my head quite a bit. I think it's great, and I love the vocals.
Yeah.
To me, Tom's vocals are very steady. The pace is good, and that solo is pretty solid too. Yeah, it's a good song all the way around.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. And like just the title of that track just gives it some
Once they were
power,
eagles.
Yes.
like I really would have loved to see this track as a single as well.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe even over the Cherry Orchards.
Yes.
Because it's definitely more in line with what Ken was saying with the earlier Celtic stuff. Definitely has some proto death metal and proto black metal stuff going on. And in fact, if you listen to the opening riff, it's almost identical to Morbid Angel's Rapture off their Covenant
Yeah,
album
that's
released
funny.
in 93.
Yes, yes.
Like I was comparing the two, and there's just a slight difference in structure, but they're really, really, really similar. So I'm wondering if somebody over at the MA camp might have picked this one up and did something with it, because definitely sounds like it. Um, there's also a riff at 30 seconds in. Absolute
Yeah.
banger of a riff that to me resembles what Darkthrone would revolutionize a few years later on their classic Ablaze in the Northern Sky album. It just really has that early Norwegian fucking black metal sound that Darkthrone kind of capitalized on and made the blueprint for black metal, so to speak, with that album. The chorus is very cool.
Yeah.
They were, how's it go? They can't even, were eagles.
Yeah.
I'm getting it mixed up, but Metallica did a similar thing with the chorus of their song. Do you guys know the song Shadows of the Cross, which is the unreleased track from Saint Anger?
Yeah.
From the sessions, which you hear more of. You basically hear it in the documentary. But they have a chorus that goes almost, it's kind of built exactly the same way as they were Eagles' course. Is it possible Metallica was inspired by this track? I know James and Lars are big Cradle of Filth Celtic Frost fans, so who knows if they picked something up from this track. So that was just kind of an interesting note. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite tracks on the album, and probably the most metal of the bunch. Which brings us to the single. The oddly titled Cherry Orchards, the slightly erotic sounding title.
Yes, sir.
At 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Jimmy, what are you doing with this one?
Oh man. I just okay, it's got a nice heavy intro. I'm all about intros on this album. I find it's really down-tuned, is the down-tuned kind of feel for me. Maybe even the start of it's kind of doomy. I like it, but then I find that there's a woman's voice, I believe, on it.
Yeah,
Michelle.
I find it kills it for me, and it's just too fluffy. I find it's too poppy, and Tom's voice on this and parts sounds like somebody stepping on his nuts. It's like I don't know. I just can't get into it. And it's slammed between two of my favorite songs, and I know I'm giving that away, but I just and maybe it's the video. I don't know. It could be the video that maybe I'm thinking like I'm more visualizing more so than visualizing my hatred for this than maybe I should
you're
be.
slightly gagging and
Yeah,
repulsed.
yeah, and I think I'm just not into this one at all. And I think this was probably the one that maybe put like, I know it was the single, and I'm just curious, did they tour for this album? Just I'm
They
wondering.
did. They
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
and I just can't see this live. I don't know. I just can't see you going from Circle of Tyrants to this, and I don't know. And I'm sorry, guys, but this one's a big miss for me. There's nothing else on the album that I will crap on as much as this because there's some really good stuff coming up.
You don't have to say
Jimmy,
sorry.
I want to slap you in the head. I just want to slap you in the head, Jimmy. I'm sorry. I just need a good slap in the head right now.
We need to put them in the cherry orchard. Eat some of
Yes.
those cherries. Maybe we'll
Oh,
have a
God.
better.
And I read the lyrics because you know what? And it's hard to find a lot of the lyrics for the songs online. They don't even, a lot of like my usual lyric places only had like cherry orchards and I think downtown Hanoi and a few others. They didn't have like a lot of the
Yeah.
other. So it was tricky
I
for me.
But I have to wonder. There's innuendo in that title for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
there is.
yeah,
There is,
yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
take us there, Ken.
This is the best song on the album. I'm sorry to say.
Whoa!
For me, it is. When I first heard this song, I was literally enraptured with the song. I love the riff. The riff sells the song for
Did
me.
you the first time you heard the song?
Yeah.
Did you see the video at the same time? Was it the same?
No, I did not. I didn't see the
Okay.
video at first. The video I don't have a problem with. I mean,
Right.
it's not the most creative video in the world, black and white. It's a typical kind of profile of the band playing. Okay, whatever. But the
Yeah.
song itself, to me, it's addictive to me because I love the riff is great. That's what sells it. But when you hear the actual song, and this is a thing for me, one of the big attractions to Frost for me is when they include female vocals. I love it. Michelle Villanueva is the vocalist here. She actually co-wrote the song with Tom. I know Almberg is credited for the music, but there's a lot of symbolism in the song for me. The whole song is the idea of cherry orchards. It sort of symbolizes this idea, the fleeting of youth and the loss of innocence. That's what I get out of the song. Some say that it's I can't even say it now. An eulogy to Marilyn Monroe, which I think is interesting concept because there's layers of like commentary on fame.
Isn't there imagery of her in the video too?
I don't remember. I don't think so, but there could
Okay.
be. I haven't watched the video in a very long time.
Right.
But I just love it. I think for me the killer riff sells it. I love female vocals. That's the one attraction. And I thought this when we talked about Pandemonium, and I love Sorrows of the Moon for that reason. I love that female vocals blew me away. It's just something about it. I like it. So I like the fact that here, you're kind of you're throwing a little bits and elements of Pandemonium in here, but I think the song is good. I don't know. I like the song. It speaks to me. It always did when I first heard it. I bought the cassette. I'm an old guy, so I bought the cassette when it first came out, and I played this song to death. I just totally love the song, and it sold me on the album.
Awesome. For me, I really enjoyed the song too. I love the melancholic vibe of it. I'm a big Typo Negative fan, and I do get some Typo vibes here. And it's definitely feeds that fix that I have for the darker side of this. Actually, in my research for the album, I came across the perfect description for this track. Somebody in a comment on YouTube said, "This would be like if Pantera released Metal Magic after Cowboys from Hell came out."
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Comment.
I think that describes it really, really well. It's got that perfect blend of, I'm going to use the word glam here, sleazy aesthetics and extreme metal of that time. And it blends it very well. Again, that incredible opening riff, I think, recalls Circle of the Tyrants. As well, I do hear some Looks That Kill by Motley Crue in that first riff.
Oh, yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah.
It's got that swagger. Structured slightly different, but played at the same tempo. And, if you close your eyes, listen to the song, this weekend, throw the track on, listen to the song with your eyes closed. There's one riff that almost transitions into Metallica's Seek and Destroy.
Mm.
It's like 2 seconds from going there, and it doesn't go there. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it does have, again, a bit of Typo, a bit of Metallica, a bit of Motley Crue, and it's very catchy. And the riffs are effective. Has an earworm, of course. Again, I'm hearing some P cells and So Far So Good kind of riffing all over this thing. And yeah, I would just say that the last thing I would say about the song is the rhythm section totally kills it here. It fucking gives the song a real power that that it might not otherwise have. So yeah, I'm with Ken on this. I really, really like it. I think Jim, with a little bit more convincing, might come around. We'll see.
Well, you bring up Typo Negative. I'm a big Typo Negative fan. As soon as you brought that up, I started having other songs like, "Ooh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that," and I even get some Typo Negative vibes off of Into the Pandemonium as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Every time, if I'm going to close my eyes and I see those four guys behind you,
That's okay.
Who?
Not every song's gonna appeal.
Okay, we got to go there. What
Yeah.
stylist in their right mind thought these guys had the face for this hair?
yeah, I know.
I know.
Especially that face. No fucking way. This is why he wears a toque all the time now, because he's like,
Yeah,
he's got some sort of
He's going bald.
PTSD from these times.
yeah, definitely going bald.
He's got a hideous mug. It just doesn't work. He's a unique looking guy.
He wears a lot of the black eye paint around his eyes,
Yeah.
which I kind of like. Something
Like a
about
football
that
player.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But he sort of drives it down a little bit, like it's like the bleeding tears.
Yeah.
I've seen him when I saw him live, he had the makeup on. Last time I saw him in 2006 when they toured their last album, the last Frost album.
Oh yeah. Is
Yeah.
that Monotheist?
Monotheist. Yeah.
Monothesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that album. I saw the tour, and he had the black makeup on his eyes at the time, so it was kind of cool. Good visual.
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
Cool visual.
All right, we're already like almost halfway through.
I
We're at
know.
track 6, Juices Like Wine. 4 minutes and 17 seconds of this. Where are you going with it, Kenny?
Again, I like the song. I have no problem with the song. I mean, Tom wrote the lyrics, so obviously he's got this interesting notion about like a lot. Again, there's a lot of Frost in it. This is why I don't. My argument has always been this album to me does have a lot of Frost. It's not that much of a departure. I think a lot of people get really hung up on the look. Is where I think.
Oh yeah.
Hung up, but this song is pretty good. I mean, really, you're talking. It hints at the idea about ancient truths. You want the challenging secrets. There's a certain amount of personal struggle that they kind of wove into the song. And the idea that you have blood in the sand, which evokes like violence and immortality, and the idea of wine, which is associated with pleasure and indulgence and ritual. All that shit's on a Frost song. I mean, it's there. If you really want to take it all apart, it's all there. So I like this. I like the tempo. I like his little hey at 26 instead of going
fuck yes.
He goes hey,
yeah,
and it's great. It's like it's a change up. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of his vocals kind of sort of resemble what he was doing on Pandemonium in my mind.
I agree.
And I was saying this earlier. My only one small criticism that there aren't enough tempo changes. It's a very kind of basic formula. So you get the start of it, the solo in the middle, and then you get the ends. There's not a lot of. There could be more tempo shifts. That's what I was so used to Pandemonium. You don't get it here. But beyond that, it's great. I love the fact that the vocals aren't as clean. They sound a little filtered, or there's some kind of effect added to it, which I think it makes it just great. And then he goes into a little bit of the goth crooning as well. I love it. It's a really good song. I have no problem with it.
Good summary. Good summary, Ken. Jimmy, where are you
Yeah,
going?
I love it. It's one of my I'd say that this is one of my three favorites. I think again another wicked intro. I find Tom's vocals fit the music on this a lot better for me.
Yes.
And
I agree. Yeah.
to piggyback on what Ken said, I think the basic part of it is what I like. I think it's back to basics, and that's what I want. I mean, this isn't thrash metal, and I would even debate there's some thrash metal on Into the Pandemonium, but I think that I want my metal to be sometimes to be basic, and I enjoy it. But I think it's got it's a heavy song, and it's got some really cool riffing in it. This is definitely I like coming out of Cherry Orchards. I like 4 and 6. I think they're just wicked tracks, and I think this could have fit on another Celtic Frost
Yeah,
album
I would
as
agree
well.
with that.
It would, if it was even on to Megatheron or even maybe the extended version of Morbid Tales, I think it probably would fit in there and people would probably like it. It might be not as produced as slick, but hey, that would have been okay. But I think it's a great track. I like it, and I think it's a testament that I think that people, maybe even like myself, who joke around about hating this album, but there is a lot of good on the album. For me, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not into, but I got to admit, this is definitely a bright spot for me. And I just wish there was more of those bright spots that would kind of get me over the edge with it. But that's definitely a wicked track. I love it.
You made a good point there, Jimmy, that I think is worth exploring. It's like you said that this could possibly fit on, another of the more
Yeah.
welcomed Frost albums.
Yeah.
I think that could be said for any of these songs because I think there's enough in these songs that enough structure and stuff that is fans are used to, but just presented differently. Like if Celtic Frost were to re-record this album, maybe change the titles and maybe, kind of if Warrior kind of change up his vocal style a little bit, I think this album would be a fucking fantastic and well accepted Celtic
Agree.
Frost album. And this track in particular. So yeah, I think you're bang on there. To me, this track reminded me of early Metal Church, where it's not really overly thrashy,
Yeah.
but there are hints of it. I'm a huge fan of the American band Chastain.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I love their
Oh
album
yeah.
Voice of the Cult from '88, the same year actually. And this track reminds me of the single on that track, which is Child of Evermore, which is
Mhm.
super dark sounding. So these two songs really have a similarity that way, and I love both the tracks for that reason. I think it's one of the heavier tracks on this album,
Yeah.
along with Eagles. Tom, as you mentioned, Jim sounds more like himself on this song. There's lots of killer footwork in the song, a lot of driving triplets that keeps the song energetic throughout. I'll agree with Ken. I think not enough tempo changes. Had they thrown a couple of, changes here and there, maybe it would have made the song a bit more interesting and dynamic. But as it stands, I think they did a pretty good job with what they presented. So yeah, another track that I really enjoy.
That's a good point, Jason. I think that Chastain is a great for some of the tracks on this album, actually, like Mystery of Illusion, their first album, and Ruler of the Wasteland. I really like those kind of that traditional kind of meaty hooks and stuff they have, and you can feel that in here because Tom's voice is very similar to that.
Yeah.
He's not as it's not as like in the earlier Frost. I mean, he's always been a fairly clean singer, clean to some degree. I mean, there's he's a bit more grunty in a lot of the original stuff, but it's not like a total death metal a sound. So I feel that with and that's probably I've been comparing it to maybe some Wasp, but not a commercial Wasp.
No.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of crappy commercial Wasp, like a lot of stuff off of the third album and that. And I even said the Rad EP, and the reason why I brought the Rad EP up when I talked to you guys about it is that's my favorite Rad album. It's only an EP, but when they did Back for More and You Think You're Tough, and they did some of the tracks off of that, the original tracks off that EP, made it to Out of the Cellar, but then they kind of destroyed them for me. They lost their edge. They were a lot more traditional, heavy, and a little bit more even sleazy. And to go back to your point with LA Guns, there's a song coming up, actually the next one, where I said it's very got an LA Guns groove. The difference between, and I didn't want to insult Celtic Frost, but because LA Guns does have a lot of fluffy stuff. I mean, they've got a lot of, on each album they do have some filler. One of my favorite sleaze rock bands, but they still have a lot of kind of, they kind of go into that glam end. With this, when I compare it to that, it's more along the lines of the solid, aggressive, more sleazier songs. So but yeah, right. I think Chastain's a great example. That actually, as soon as you said that, I mean, I've got 3 of their albums, and I think it's awesome. So
yeah, they're not too dissimilar.
No.
Why don't you lead us then with Little Velvet at 3 minutes and 40 seconds?
Yeah,
Jim?
This is another cool. I got another great intro, and it's kind of more like, for me, this is kind of it's more like a heavier rock song for me, and the bass on this song is phenomenal. I think this is my favorite track for the bass. Like, it's just pickled with a cool bass line and with lots of bass, kind of bassy riffs on it, which is kind of cool. And it's got, for me, definitely a sleaze rock sound, which is, and it really is reminiscent of maybe the first album of LA Guns, their first self-titled one, and then maybe even some of the better tracks off of like Malaria or something like that off of the second album, Cocked and Loaded. Maybe Malaria was off the first one, but something a little bit more, kind of more of a sleazy rock doom sound, but not stoner doom, just kind of dancing along, going in and out of that. For me, I think it's a pretty good song.
Cool. And Ken, would you agree?
It's not bad. I listened to the song several times because I was trying to figure out what the lyrical, what it meant. I mean, now obviously it's somewhat sparse and cryptic, but I like the whole Little Velvet thing kind of refers to, like, or evokes this softness, this like intimacy, and it's okay. So obviously maybe they're pulling into the whole tropes of like goth, like slam, like, kind of like glam metal. I think it's okay. I agree with Jim. I like the opening riff, but I also like it at 22 seconds when Priestley's drums kind of pick up and it kind of carries it from there. I like that. It's like, okay, this is cool. And it's got a really addictive beat to it. The tempo is upbeat, and then the solo is not bad. So it's a decent song for 3 minutes. Anything longer, I don't know if it would work.
Yeah,
But for the
good point.
of what they're trying to achieve, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a solid song. Not my favorite, but it's solid.
Yeah, I agree. Jim, I think you hit it on the head. It's definitely has a hard rock swing to it with a super sing-along hook.
Yeah.
Reminds me, like you were mentioning, Rat, maybe some Dock and Deep cuts here.
Good point.
But I do think it's the most traditional sounding glam song on the album. Yet at the same time, it also sounds, there's also a similarity to Priest circa Point of Entry, which is why I was mentioned at the top, I was listening to Point of Entry a lot because I was like, this reminds me of something, this track. And then I went into the rabbit hole of Priest. I'm like, it's Priest, which album? And I got to Point of Entry. I'm like, it fucking reminds me of Point of Entry, especially the track Solar Angels, which is arguably the best track in Point of Entry. And this song to me is kind of a carbon copy of that track. And yeah, I love both tracks. Interesting side note, I think Tom gets a lot of shit for his vocals on this album because of that whine that he puts into it. And he does it quite a bit in the song, maybe a little too much. But it's not, I was thinking about it, and it reminded me of something, and his vocals are not too dissimilar to Jess Cox of Tigers of Pantang, and especially the Wildcat album. Now, if you go back from 1980, if you go back and listen to that album, there is a definite fucking correlation between the vocal styles here. Like, Jess Cox isn't quite as whiny as Tom is on this album, but their register is very, very, very similar. they kind of hit some of the same notes. And of course, Tom's inflection is a bit more snarly and sultry, but there definitely is a similarity. And I think that's why I really like Tom's vocals on this album because I fucking love Wildcat and I love Jess Cox. So
Mm.
for me, it just kind of rings true. So yeah, that's basically it for me on that track. We're gonna move on to Blood on Kisses, the most typo negative sounding song title
Yeah.
yet. Uh, Take us there, Kenny. 3 minutes and 29 seconds of this.
Actually, for me, it's typo negative. No, I get Motorhead vibes here.
Ah, okay.
I
Yeah.
get some Motorhead vibes here. That was the one band that we haven't mentioned tonight that I see they pull a little bit from. This song definitely pulls from early Motorhead in my mind.
You mean musically?
Musically, yeah, not so much
Yeah.
lyrically, but musically, I'm hearing it in just some of the way some of the riffs are structured. Obviously, this has the goth influence for sure. And Tom co-wrote the song with Michelle, and so you get like the blood on kisses, bloody as wine, see the face of pure desire, bloody lips feeling dry, scorched to be by your fire. So I mean, yeah, those are very kind of typo negative kind of lyrics. Well, I don't mind them.
I think
But
especially the song title reminds me of a typo
right, yeah, oh
negative
yeah,
term. Yeah,
I
yeah,
do agree with you there.
yeah, yeah,
But the opening riff is again one of the things that perks up my ears.
yeah, yeah.
But it's a simple song. Like, you get the one tempo change about 150, and then you get the guitars that kick in with the solo about 215. It's a solid song. I don't know if
Yep.
it blows me away, but I don't mind it. So the one thing I've noticed about this album is that it's very formulaic. It does get formulaic. It's not as rich or as progressive or as interesting as previous albums. But I think it's a good song for what you're getting for 3 minutes.
Cool. Jimmy, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm not keen on this one. I think this one is reminiscent of me of like track two, "Seduce Me Tonight." I think it's for me, it's got more of a thicker punk rock kind of sound to it at parts of it, and I just find it's like this is probably, I mean, for this album, this is probably the only track that I think is repetitive on it for me. Like it's very similar to track two. So for me, it kind of falls into it's a little bit of filler here, but I just I it feels like kind of a just a, for me. I just get a like a really not as good Sex Pistols vibe from it, and I just it's very punky for me, and that's probably where maybe the Motorhead sound, because Motorhead is it's got a lot of punk attributes to it too, but this just doesn't really do it for me. I just find on the album, you've got all these tracks on here, and regardless of whether somebody likes the album or not, this is the only time I find there's a repetitive song for me, and that it's very reminiscent of track two, which I wasn't that fond of either. And I'm a huge punk fan. I'm not. It's just I find it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's his vocals or what that doesn't get it for me, but I'm gonna have to listen to it again and maybe put on my typo negative hat and see if I can channel that through it. But it's not a good one for me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. It's not my favorite track on the album, probably my least favorite track in the album. There are some saving graces here and there. Again, I think you guys are spot on with the punk kind of vibe in here. I think it has a proto black metal, early punky vibe of like Venom going
Yeah.
on here and there. Yet at the same time, it's really weird. There's some kind of odd contrast here because it has that early kind of venomy, punky black metal. But I also hear Vinnie Vincent Invasion in this track. And I was a big Vinnie Vincent Invasion fan at this time. Um, and also there's a slight pop sensibility to it that's a bit awkward. That reminds me of Whitesnake that kind of underlies the whole track. So I think they were trying too many different things here. And I don't think they all work together. And I think you guys are right. It just kind of has a blink of an eye and the song is kind of done. It has the same repetitive, monotonous kind of tempo throughout, while still kind of combining all these weird elements into one track that doesn't really work. I mean, it's a cool enough track. I get what they were doing, but definitely doesn't hold up to some of the more awesome tracks on this album. Brings us to track 9. We're almost there, guys. Downtown Hanoi.
Hanoi!
4 minutes and 15 seconds. What are you thinking, Jimmy?
Oh, this could have been 8 minutes for me. This is another favorite on the song for me. This, I don't know if this wasn't a single, was it?
No.
No, this should have been the single, because that chopper sounds, that intro that has that sampling kind of chopper sounds like could be a news thing and choppers, and it's just, and that, I mean, the chorus is amazing when he does that high downtown Hanoi. I love it. It's
So
I find
catchy.
it, sorry?
So catchy. I can't get it out of my
it's
head.
catchy, and it's darker. I find this is
Yeah.
really darker, and I like it. I mean, this is another really, I mean, I remember when I bought the tape, and I was working in a pet store with another guy who was a few years older than me, and he bought it first, and he said, "You got to listen to Downtown Hanoi. It's amazing." But yeah, this song is definitely one of the highlights on the album for me, and it's wicked. I mean, I like it. I think there's every part of it is good. It could have been longer in my mind. I love it's just his high vocal on Hanoi. Just you don't get to hear that in a lot of the first albums, and I find he does a really good job with it, and it's just I love it. I mean, I think it's so catchy. It's really cool, but it's not catchy like a pop or a glam song. It's more. It even gives me some stoner vibe to it, but faster and not as, just darker, and I really dig it.
Awesome, Jim. Ken, would you agree?
Yeah, the song this song is pretty much an extension of Pandemonium. It's a song I easily could be on that album.
That's true. Yeah.
It has that swagger, it has the vibe, has a little bit of groove and swagger in parts of it. The opening is obviously, to me, is a callback to Pandemonium, I think. But
yeah,
Tom likes those kind of I don't know if they're like, I can't describe. It's like, is it like a sample, like industrial type sample, which obviously he likes, so he throws it in there. It has a really good. The chorus is pretty good. I like the chorus, and I like the emphasis on downtown Hanoi and how he sings that part of the song. The solo is really good. I find the solo's got these weird kind of chainsaw, off kilter style. They come at you in waves, and I like that. It makes the song a bit unique for me. And and of course, the whole song is about separation. It's not. I don't know, the downtown Hanoi part is a bit odd to me, but I've heard that the song is about separation, and that a person's trying to numb their feelings through alcohol, tobacco, and through all kinds of distractions. So it's interesting. And then I also know that the song hints at the idea of distracting yourself through TV or social outings. So I'm also wondering, in the beginning of the song, what you hear, Jim, is a TV.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the TV, I think, is connecting to that beginning of the song. I could be wrong, but that's just my interpretation. But I like the song. I think this is a really good song, and I agree with you. Like, it could be a little bit longer, and it definitely would come off of Pandemonium. If there was a B-side Pandemonium, this would be it.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys wholeheartedly on this one. It's definitely groovy. It's got a darker aura. Has a lot of shifting moods, which are cool. It really fits kind of the palette of the song. Like if you close your eyes and listen and just listen to the lyrics and the chorus, you feel like you're in downtown Hanoi. I've never been there, but I imagine it's gritty and dark, and you could probably get into some weird shit. So it does give off that vibe, which is really, really cool. I love it for that. Um, it does have a lot of dark riffing that can be heard on Morbid Tales. Again, some of those chromatic movements and flattened intervals. There's a lot of tritone stuff going on, which gives it that sort of evil, suffocating vibe, which I think this song does a good job of presenting. Um, yeah, and good balance of some really meaty hooks, um, but with a kind of a Sunset Strip vibe underlying it, but with a more metallic edge. reminds me somewhat of Keel's self-titled album from '87, because that's a bit of a darker album too, but also is not too far removed from the Sunset Strip. So it does share a similarity with that album. So I wonder if someone was a Keel fan, which that album came out a year before this. So you never know. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Probably one
Mhm.
of the better tracks on the album.
Mhm.
Okay, this brings us to track 10. You want to dance sleazy, Ken?
Yep.
Give it to us.
Yeah, it's a good song. I like this
Get,
song actually.
get that shirt off. Let's see some sleazy dancing.
I don't mind the song. For me personally, the big catch is the old timey wimey radio announcer, and then the girl comes on. Hello, boys. I kind of
Yeah,
like that. It's kind of
yeah.
it's fun. It's got a little bit of an edge to it. The
This is
vocals are
total strip club
yeah,
fucking fodder. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. The vocals are very whiny, but I like that the solo is very cacophonous. So it works for me on that level. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's drenched in glam rock tropes for sure. Lust, like dancing sleazy in a nightclub. The lyrics kind of suggest this whole flirtation with like hedonistic nightlife. Yeah, it's got all of it. It's this song pretty much will describe. This song will probably be the one that I think most people would hate on this album. I don't mind it. It's not the best song to end off an album for sure, it's sufficient for me as a song.
Cool. And Jimmy, I'm gonna
Yeah,
guess you're in disagreement.
I like I like the music. I like the vocals. I love the little thing at the start with the woman's voice and that. It's kind of cool. I just hate the title kills it. I get half points taken off because it's just such a lame friggin' title. Come up with something better, like
For the
maybe I don't
times
know
though,
something
Jimmy,
that's
for the times.
yeah, I know, but it's just like you don't. First rule of thumb: if you're putting out a sleaze rock album, maybe they didn't think it was that. Don't use sleazy it. It's like that band Sleaze Bees. Like oh my
Oh
god,
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's just like you said. The trope here is just, but I mean, the song's not bad. It's got a great opening riff. It
Yeah,
sounds like
I like
Rat.
that. Mm.
It's got a Rat, that early Rat sound when Rat didn't suck. And that's sad because I get into so many arguments with people like they're like, you only like the EP, it's only got like 5 or 6 songs on it, and some of them are duplicates from the second album. But it's just like, and I have Rat albums, pretty much all of them.
Mm.
I find they just turned, they went a different way as well, but they were kind of a really meaty, sleazy band like that too. And this has got that for me. It's got a wicked solo in it as well. But I just find the title, I just take half points off for that. We need to get a better total for this one.
There you go. There you
I
go.
would have something like Dancing on the Blade or something. I don't know. We could just come up with something. A mix between Dancing on the Edge, Lita Ford, and Johnny Blade's Black Sabbath.
Nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I agree with you guys here. I think it's a solid kind of rager from start to finish, mixes up stuff that you might have heard from bands at the time, such as Poison Warrant or Brittany Fox, but I think there's also a bit of a thrash edge to it. There's actually a riff in here when I was listening. I had to go back like 20 times. It repeats throughout the song, but there's a riff in here that sounds like a reworking of the main riff in Master of Puppets. And it's soon as you hear it, you're like, fuck, yep, just they change a few notes. It's almost exactly the same.
Mm.
It's not as front and center, obviously, as that main riff of Master of Puppets. It's buried, but it's there and you can hear it. So go back and listen and tell me what you guys think.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I was researching again all these songs on YouTube, I was individually researching them and looking through people's comments to kind of get some ideas of what, the sentiment was out there. And somebody said the chorus of the song reminded them of Priest's Hot Rockin'. So I went back, I'm like, what?
Okay.
I'm not hearing that. But then I went and put on Hot
Yeah.
Rockin'. I'm like, holy fuck, yeah, this is Hot Rockin'. Just slightly changed up, but it's there. It's there. So interesting note. But yeah, I think this is a pure sleaze club fantasy strip club song. And I don't think it was I think it was a bit of a punching bag for fans, probably for the same reason
Oh, this
Jimmy's
song, yeah,
saying. Yeah,
yeah.
they could have been a little more creative with the song title, but I guess it
Yeah.
gets the point across, and maybe that's what they were trying to do. All right, that brings us to track 11. Reminds
Yeah.
me of a Poison title, Roses Without
Yeah.
Thorns.
Yeah, thorns.
3 minutes and 26 seconds. Um, Kenny, what are you doing with this one?
Uh, I don't mind it.
Yeah, me
I like the
neither.
guitars at the start of it. I think it's got a crushing chorus. So the riffs are not too bad. It's like it's got moments. Like it's one of those songs where it's like, yeah, it could be this, it could be that. Although the one thing I want to point out right away is that I get like at 216, you get this little bit of a golden earring vibe. I hear it like, oh, that sounds like them. Just
Of
slight,
who?
just
Golden earring.
golden
Oh,
earring.
go. Yeah, okay, yep, yeah, yeah.
If you go to 216, just listen to the first maybe 5 6 seconds. I picked it up. I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So I thought
Cool.
that was kind of an interesting little thing. The song itself is decent enough. I guess it's all about reflections on your disillusionment and your desires, and then the whole point of beauty and pain. So it does sort of pick up Frost elements. The symbolism behind the idea of roses without thorns, it suggests this idealized love, or you're experiencing pain and pleasure. So of course it's gonna take all those glam rock tropes. I think it's okay to end it off. It's not the best song, but for me, I there's things I like about it, and I'm like, it could have been so much better if they just, I don't know, if they were a bit more creative. But I'm not sure they were being that creative with the song overall.
You got some good points there. I'm gonna have to go back and check that section out.
Yeah, go to
Thanks, you,
216. I
216.
swear to
Cool.
God, I'm hearing Golden Earring.
Interesting. All right, Jimmy, what do you have?
It's not a bad song. I agree with Ken. I think it reminds me not vocally but musically of an old school Wasp song. So what I like about it is probably a little bit better musically than Wasp, because I think Wasp's big obviously besides Chris Holmes, who's a fantastic and the best guitarist Wasp has ever had. I think that obviously the Wasp sound technically comes from Blackie Lawless, so not vocally, but it has that sort of Wasp from maybe their debut album for me. I find Tom's vocals are actually okay on this. I like it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite song, but no, it's okay for me to end the album on this. It's not a negative by far, and
Mm.
this would be like a 7 out of 10 song for me. It's pretty solid, I think, and it's just got those kind of old school. And the title's okay. I mean, it's I've never thought of the Poison song
Poison.
there. Every rose has its thorn, though. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But this is definitely not that. I mean, it's I think it's pretty good. I don't mind it. Like I say, a 7 out of 10 for me on this one.
Cool, cool. Actually, this is frequently cited as the highlight of the album, which,
Really?
yeah,
Really?
which surprises me. But
Me
I
too.
mean, you guys have both said it is a solid song. And actually, they used this track as a live encore on their '89 tour.
Okay. Yeah.
So pulling this out as an encore might speak volumes to maybe the likability of the track. I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but it's interesting when we do these because I think we all pull something a little different from each of these
Yes.
songs. Because for me, this had a lot of new wave of British heavy metal, like kind of
Okay.
stuff going on, like Diamond Head meets Maiden, but also crossed with late '80s Euro thrash. Teutonic thrash, like Creator, Sodom, Destruction. I'm hearing some of that in there, the more thrasher
Mhm.
elements. Um, so to me, when it combined those two things, the new wave and the Teutonic thrash, it has this really interesting dynamic. I think it's arguably the heaviest track on the album,
Hmm.
along with They Were Eagles and Juices Like Wine. I think those
Yeah.
three tracks, this track along with those two, are probably the heaviest tracks on this album. So
Fair
I
enough.
like it for
Yeah. Yeah.
that. It's a solid song that does what it does fairly competently. All right, that brings us actually to the end of the the vinyl version of the album. So that was the
Mhm.
last song on the vinyl version, which was the only version I ever owned. I bought it new in '88 and never picked up the CD version. So I didn't even know for years, until years later, that there were two additional tracks on the CD version. And that would be the first track on the CD only bonus tracks. Tease Me. What do you think? What do you think, Ken? Tease Me.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not. It's like an unfinished song to me. Like it's short. Okay, it's fast paced. It's the guitars start get a little doomy at like 129. The solo is okay. It doesn't blow me away by any means. I just think it's an okay song.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't. I wouldn't include this on the album. To me personally,
Mhm. I
I
ditto
wouldn't.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree, Jimmy?
Yeah, totally. It's kind of, I don't think it's necessarily a bonus.
Mm.
I actually, I like Cherry Orchards better than this song. So there you go.
Wow.
No, I'm just not keen. I just don't think it's I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe I can't. Is it on the? I can't remember. I don't think that's on the cassette either. I think the cassette
No,
is the
no, it's
exact
only
replica.
on the CD, Jim.
Yeah. So I just I don't think it's a bonus. I think it's just kind of a bit of a waste. I think
Yeah.
less is more when it comes to maybe this album. Like
Yeah.
go with the 11 tracks. I'm cool with that, but I just don't think this gives any added value to it.
Mm-mm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is I agree with Ken here. The only saving grace to the song, it comes at 129, that
Yeah,
riff, which
yeah.
sounds like Procreation of the Wicked if it had a baby with Morbid Angel. Very cool fucking riff, but I don't think it was the rest of the song was well thought out. Maybe had they built the song around that riff and spent a bit more time, they might have come up with some magic, but the rest of the song kind of suffers from just some really incredibly generic riffing. So,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
that brings us
Weird.
to the final track, Mexican Radio, the new version,
Yeah.
which obviously was on Into the Pandemonium. Um, Jimmy, what do you think of them including
I
Mexican Radio again?
Well, I didn't mind the first version on Into the
Yes.
Pandemonium. This is again, it's just kind of silly. I mean, if they should have just put on a live version of Circle of the Tyrants for me, and then I would have I'd buy 10 of these CDs. Or maybe got Obituary to put their version. I'm just joking. The Obituary one came later, but I just think it's kind of, again, I don't know why they would do the new version. I didn't mind it as a cover on Into the Pandemonium. It puzzled me why it was the first track, but I really didn't. I didn't. It really wasn't out of place on that album for me. I thought it was
No,
great.
it
This one
wasn't.
does.
You're right.
This one doesn't give me any. I really have no. It's just it's irrelevant. It doesn't need to be here. I don't think.
Yeah. Ken?
No. Oh yeah, it's awful. It's an awful song. It sounds awful live. It doesn't sound anything like what you heard on Pandemonium.
No.
And I don't understand why they included it. I maybe they thought they were being clever at the time. Oh, look at us. Ha ha ha. We can play Frost songs. No, you can't play Frost songs. Sorry. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you can tell, and I know this I think it's been proven that the crowd noise is all false. It's all bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds
yeah. Of course.
canned.
It's
Yeah.
piped in. It's piped
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. So is it even live? Like it's probably live just with the canned
Yeah, I
and
would. Yeah, they
crowd
may have
noises.
recorded it live in the studio. Maybe I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
But
true. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's
I
not
agree.
a
It's a
true live
totally
song.
no, not a true live song. Just a
No.
totally inferior version that sounds like
Yeah.
garbage, like you were saying, Ken. It just absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. All right, so that brings us to the end, and you know, um, I think that's all we have to say on that. I think we do have an interesting segment coming up next, and we're going to pass it off to Ken, who's going to take the reins on this one and bring it all together for us. Ken?
Yeah, so we decided this week we're going to be doing a top 5 bands, or it could be like a band, or it could be an album where there was a change in sound. It could be good, could be bad. It's up to you. It was your call on this one. So, Jimmy, why don't you lead us off on your 5?
Sure, I got a couple of kind of mainstreamy ones and some that are
Sure.
pretty that piss me off really hard. But then there's other ones that I actually like. I'll start off with one that I wasn't so satisfied with, and that's Bathory.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I love Bathory. I love the first self-titled album, The Return. Under the Sign of the Black Mark is probably one of my. Oh my god, I just love that album, 1987. And then they brought in, I think it was Blood, Fire, Death, and Human Heart. I believe Human Heart in 1990, and they went. I don't have a thing against Viking metal. It's just they went from where they were to kind of way more Viking metal, and I don't have an issue with it. I own a couple of the newer albums. I have Human Heart. It's just such a sort of they left it there. I just don't understand, and I know Quorthon and everything that went on and that, but it kind of, I don't know. It was a bit disappointing for me, especially after Under the Sign of the Black Mark. It's just a fantastic album, and
Mm.
it just kind of is a little bit of a letdown. But then one that I really like, I don't have these rated in 1 through 5. I've got 5 of them here, but I liked I talked about Saxon before, and one of my favorite bands all time, one of my favorite traditional heavy metal bands, and a new wave of British heavy metal band. I fell in love with Innocence Is No Excuse in 1985. So I got that. I went to the record store, and the picture has the girl eating the
Yeah,
apple with
on the
the
Apple, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's kind of a little bit interesting as a I was only 14 at the time. So anyways, I bought it, and on the back of the album it had like Biff and all the guys all done up like Celtic Frost on this album, because this was their, Crusader was before this, which is I think my favorite Saxon album.
That's
This
an
would
epic album, man.
Yeah, yeah, and this is my second favorite, but this was their break into North America, and it didn't go over too well. Like they really alienated, I think, a lot of their fans, and this, and maybe up until Destiny, as that was really cool. You mentioned that, Jason, because I love Saxon, I love all their albums, but this one here, I really like it, and I like the way they went. But to become a bit more maybe radio friendly or video friendly, I guess would be the big thing, because they wanted this on
Mhm.
MTV, and that it was, for regular Saxon fans, I can understand why there was a little bit of a pushback. For me, I really like it because I bought it, and then I went back, weeks later, and I bought a lot of the cassettes, the first 4 or 5, whatever. And, I always loved Saxon. So that was kind of one that didn't really bother me too much. Another one would be Judas Priest. And this is kind of a lighter one. And this is a double one. So this one's kind of cool because you've got Priest that's been bombing along. My favorite Priest album all time is Sin After Sin, 1977. Love that album. That was my first metal album I ever accidentally bought. And then they came out with Turbo Lover, which would have been right after Defenders. And it was such kind of like a lot of Priest fans really had a bit of pushback with that because, it was a little bit more. I mean, Rob Halford even had hair, a little bit of hair, and
Yeah.
he ditched the studs and the biker look for more of a, I wouldn't say necessarily glam, but a little bit more toned down than the new wave of British heavy metal look that they were. And then, which I didn't mind, don't get me wrong, I like Turbo as well.
Good
But
album.
then to kind of go from there and then skip a couple more, another album, then go to Painkiller, which which we were talking about, a much more thrashy album. And again, they changed it a little bit too. And for me, and I know longtime Priest fans, a lot of newer Priest fans think Painkiller's their favorite, and I get that too. It's probably my top 3 or top 4 album, and I'm just kind of weird because I have an emotional attachment to Sin After Sin, and like Screaming for Vengeance is one of my favorites. But I can see where fans were puzzled by Turbo, but I can see where they toured for Turbo, and they got a lot more females heading to the venue, and that definitely made them more popular, especially in North America. And then Painkiller is just an all-out ballsy album. So there's another one where I like where they kind of went through 2 or 3 different types of slight genre changes, which I'm cool with. And another one that kind of bothered me a little bit, but I have a lot of respect for the singer they brought in. It was one of my favorite thrash bands of all time is Onslaught. So
Mm,
you've got Onslaught, In Search of Sanity was a little bit more. They brought in
rockin'.
Steve Grimmett, and I love Steve Grimmett. I love Grim Reaper. God rest his soul. He's a god. I just find it was a lot more progressive, maybe a little bit more just traditional progressive, maybe even a little bit of symphonic. Or I think
Well, it wasn't thrash.
no, it wasn't full on thrash like the first
Oh.
two albums, like The Force, which was right before it. And I just it's a great album, and I own it and I love it because I love Steve. But I can see where fans they gained a lot of fans, especially I heard in Germany. That album was really, really big because that's where you get a lot of that symphonic kind of and that progressive sound in metal. But a lot of the fan base were mixed on it. And I think Steve saved it because Steve it was such a renowned vocalist and really brought it to it. And then my last pick would be Metallica. And I bring this up all the time. When everybody complains about Saint Anger, but my hatred, I hate, like, Load broke my heart with Metallica. I hate Load more than I hate Saint Anger because I wasn't surprised by the time they released Saint Anger, because Load was, for me, terrible. Reload was terrible. And then Saint Anger was just a continuation. So I was already so let down that it didn't really bother me too much. But I go with the Black Album on this. I mean, you had 4 thrash masterpieces, and then you bring out the Black Album, which I like the Black Album. It's a great album. I would have liked maybe Death Magnetic or Hardwired, something like that, maybe after, and maybe a little bit of a return. I don't want bands to just keep putting out the same stuff, but I would have liked it a little bit more, maybe a Death Magnetic kind of feel to it right after, rather than jump on the sort of the Load bandwagon with, maybe some with some maybe, I don't know if they were going kind of alternative at that time. I mean, I just can't stand those 2 albums.
Jimmy,
So
are
for
there
me,
any tracks you like on those 2 albums that you pick out as you can listen to? Just
maybe
curious.
the House That Jack Built's not bad. Fuel off of Reload, I think, isn't bad, but that one with Marianne Faithful, oh, man,
Yeah.
What about Until It Sleeps?
it's just, the video kills me too. I'm a very visual person, and watching Lars and Kirk roll around in the mud just pissed me off. And I gotta be honest with you, it just, the logo change really bothered me. Like, you don't, that is the logo, and then you cut the things off and you just have Metallica. I remember driving home. At first I was like, is this even, like, did I buy the right thing? I was kind of puzzled. Like, and I look at it now, and I would have bought the album box set, but I can't bring myself to waste my money on it because I just hate it so much. Yeah, and I know a lot of people like a lot of songs on it, and that's cool. Because I don't expect bands, and maybe I do. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but because I do want Slayer to sound like Slayer, but I do like I'll bring back Creator's last album, Hate Uber Alice. I loved it, and I loved the addition of the female voice on the song, one of the singles they had with the chainsaws. That was wicked, and I know it got a lot of hate, and the album again.
Well, I think they did a big turn there too, because they started moving into melodic death metal territory,
Yeah.
kind of like Arch Enemy. And if you were already done with Arch Enemy at that point, do you want your creator to sound like Arch Enemy?
And I am done with Arch Enemy because their new album I didn't even buy, because the last album
Terrible.
I don't think I unwrapped it. And I don't even think I own.
The last two are awful.
Yeah. But I just, for some reason, with the vocals, just, I thought it was I think it augmented it. It made it exciting, and I love it. I think again, being a visual person, the video was kick-ass, and the album cover, the album art is fantastic. And I think it's the same album art. Sorry, the same artist did the new Halloween album that I reviewed for All Father. So
yeah, same artist.
Wicked. I love that sort of, I don't know what it's called, Ken, but I love that sort of blurry kind of art thing where kind of squint your eyes and you can really see it, but it looks so cool. I love that. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a good effect. Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Cool.
my picks there, guys. So some mainstream ones, some easy ones, and then
We got some different ones, which is
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know Jason, you said you had 4, so let's see what you had.
So first, I've got one of my favorite bands of all time
Mhm.
for most of their career, but there was a blip. There was a blip. Thankfully, they corrected that blip so far. But Paradise Lost, um,
Oh,
you
oh
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
who began as an awesome doom death band, with the albums Lost Paradise and Gothic from 1991. They really helped define the whole genre very early on. And then what the fuck happened? They went in, turned into a full gothic synth rock
yep,
band on 1 Second from 1997 and Host from 99. And they I'm all for creative freedom and switching things up, but it was too soon. Like they literally just defined a whole genre with a couple
yeah.
of amazing albums, and then just a few short years later, they just did an about turn on the whole
Yeah.
thing. And I don't think they had released their greatest material yet up to that point. They could have. The album after Gothic probably could have been the one that did it. But with 1 Second and Host, they sound closer to Depeche Mode
Yeah.
than Doom
Good
Death.
point.
And
Good point.
shitty Depeche Mode. Like they weren't good at writing
Yeah,
that stuff.
not even good Depeche Mode. Yeah,
Yeah, and I love Depeche Mode. I think they're an
yeah,
awesome
they're
band,
they're interesting. Yeah, they got their
Yeah,
moment. Sure.
yeah. Um, and I don't know if a total reinvention, as I was saying, was needed at that point. Sure, maybe they could have, with a few more years, have done something different, and I might have been more on board. But just with that about turn on such two amazing albums, and just trading growls and riffs for electronic beats and clean crooning. Thankfully, they later circled back to their heavier roots and more recently have released some of their heaviest and best albums. So good for them for bringing it back on board. So they
And you know
didn't,
what, Jason?
yep,
You just reminded me of one I should have picked was probably Opeth. Like,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
same deal there, right?
early Opeth
yeah,
is great.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
Later Opeth, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, my next one is kind of obvious. If you remember back to 2012, maybe,
hmm
Morbid Angel just left the world of
Oh
death
yes,
metal.
yes.
Yeah.
The worst album ever.
Yeah, one of the worst. So
Yeah,
yeah, obviously legendary death metal innovators.
hell yeah.
Altars of Madness in 89, Covenant in 93, Domination
Blessed are the
94,
sick.
Blessed are
Awesome
the
Yeah.
album.
Sick.
One of
Yeah,
my favorite albums.
such incredible fucking albums. And again, just way above everything anyone was doing at that point, and just classic albums. And then 2011 rolls around and they're like, well, we just want to put out the shittiest album and alienate everyone. And Iliad Divinum
Oh,
Insanus, that last
oh,
word rings true, Insanus. What were they doing? Mixing death metal with industrial techno beats? I love industrial. I love
same
techno.
here. Same here.
And there's been death metal bands that have done it well.
Yeah.
There's been bands that have experimented, more so on the black metal side, but there have been bands that have done it and done it well. Bands like And Oceans have brought in techno stuff and club stuff into their black metal vibe, and it worked really, really well. But these guys just made it sound insane, you know? And, I get wanting to experiment. I get it. I'm not going to fault them for that. But they blindsided every fan.
Hmm.
And it still remains, I think, one of the boldest and most infamous
True.
experiments in extreme metal. And one they don't talk about, one that I don't believe they play any songs from this album live. So I think, much like Tom with Cold Lake, they really buried this one. So, and for good reason. I'm glad it's gone. Fuck that album. Um, my next one, and I know a lot of people who love this album. I don't. I fucking hate it. It doesn't belong there. Carcass
Yes.
and Swan Song.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Swan
okay,
Song.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't fucking
Yeah.
stand that album. I get what they were doing, but it doesn't make sense for a band that had just released Heartwork which is a fucking incredible melodic death metal album
Yes,
that
Hard Work is an
again,
awesome album.
yeah, that set the fucking stage for bands like At the Gates and
Mhm.
In Flames and
Yep, yep.
as we were talking about Angela's band, the fuck
Arch
off the top
Enemy.
of Arch
Or-
Enemy.
yeah.
Heartwork was the blueprint for that shit. And then they turn it around and they release Swan Song, which is a rock and roll album, a shitty rock and
Yeah,
roll album at that.
not good, not good.
No. And, I know that Bill Steer, guitarist, is a huge, huge 70s kind of traditional rock fan. And I know that he had his hands all over this. I think he had felt slighted for a long time in Carcass because his ideas weren't coming through. It
Mhm.
was usually Walker and Ken Owen that were kind of the main songwriters. I know that Steer did have a hand in necroticism here and there, and you can hear it. But this was his album to shine, and shine he did, but it doesn't bode well for Carcass. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's too groove oriented, too hard rock, heavy metal sounding, too classic rock sounding. The riffs were blues based, tempos were slowed, too much swagger. The vocals stayed harsh, but the music underneath felt like a completely different band.
Mhm.
So no, no, big
But
no.
the return stuff, the last two albums have been pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
When they came back,
Surgical
they
Steel. Yeah.
Surgical Steel
Yeah,
for
great
sure.
album. I love that
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, I think they realized their misstep and needed to get the fans back on board if they were going to tour this shit again, and
That's
they
right.
did right. And then, like you said, Jimmy, I've got them Opeth.
Oh
Opeth.
yeah.
So
Opeth. Okay, cool.
before
Sorry.
the big turn, we had
Yeah, yeah.
Orchid '95,
Oh yeah.
Watershed 2008,
Yeah.
the kings of progressive death metal.
Yep.
Michael's vocals, some of the best death metal vocals I've ever fucking heard
Oh,
anywhere.
absolutely.
That guy's gutturals, like if you listen to his work on Bloodbath, oh my
Yeah.
God, man, it's like almost the perfection of a growl. Their
Yeah.
sound always kind of experimented with different things like acoustic interludes, and they always had sprawling prog arrangements, but they always mixed it with the crushing heaviness and those really heavy vocals. And Blackwater Park and Ghost Reveries, landmarks of that type of style. Then 2011 hits and we have the big turd of a Heritage. What the fuck was that? They just completely abandoned the growls.
Yeah,
They
it's terrible.
completely abandoned extreme metal entirely and just totally pivoted to 70s style progressive rock, with influences of King Crimson and Jethro Tull and Camel and early Genesis. And I love all that shit on its own, but I want
Not
my Opeth to sound like Opeth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Blackwater Park. Oh man. Like, yeah, you're 100% right. Oh,
Yeah, and you know what, with Blackwater Park, they showed that yes, they can experiment with the
yeah,
progressive elements and get really into the rabbit hole of the progressive elements, but not lose that fucking extreme edge. And
exactly.
it was perfect. Now, who told Michael that they needed to abandon all that to make it work? And I know who it was. It was the drummer.
Yes.
Um, the fuck was his name?
I
Anyways, the
forget.
funny thing is, yeah, the drummer at some point, and Michael has come out saying this. It wasn't Michael's idea to go.
Lopez?
Yeah, yes, it was Lopez's idea. It wasn't
Yeah.
Michael's idea to go completely into progressive 70s realm and abandon death metal or extreme metal. It was Lopez that said to Mike, "Hey, what do you think about doing this?" And Michael was like, "Sure, let's try it." And they tried it. So it was Lopez who actually introduced this, and then they did it. And then, funny enough, it was Lopez who later on, when they came back with, was it this last album or the album before where they brought back the
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 extreme
last
Death
metal?
Metal.
album, Last Will and
Last
Testament.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Lopez who said to Michael, "Hey,
Let's go back.
Let's
you
go
think?"
back to death metal
Yeah,
vocals.
and Michael was like, "Sure, let's do it." So I'm guessing that Michael's just a really chill guy and will just do anything, and
He's too wishy-washy.
yeah, wishy-washy and willing to experiment and willing to trust his bandmates. And that to me is really cool. That's a
Yeah, but
really cool
if it's his
personality.
band, dude, he should put his foot down.
Yeah, he should. He
I
should.
think
He
Fuck
should.
that was the
no.
I think those were the first death metal vocals since Watershed, I think, wasn't it?
I think
Like,
they
yeah.
were, yes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
what were they? I don't. They totally lost me as a fan. I didn't buy any of that. I think I bought one album, and
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I'd like to know Billy's opinion on those Opeth albums because I know he's a big 70s progressive fan.
Billy likes the new one quite a bit.
Yeah, so do I. I love the new one.
Yeah,
Is he into Heritage and when they totally
Yeah, I
abandoned
think
that?
I know the new album when he got it, he was spinning it like for days because he was telling
Okay.
Jim, "This is a great album. I love it."
He liked the Return of the Death Growls, but I have a lot of friends who like the non-Death Growl Opeth better than all the other Opeth albums. I'm sitting there. I have one friend who only bought the more progressive, non-growly ones, and I'm like, you gotta go get some of the early stuff and the last. Oh, he was turned on. I didn't like the new album. I'm like, are you kidding me? The new album's wicked.
Yeah, that's funny because you know what? I have a family member who's a metal fan and and he'll usually be pretty open-minded, but he hates death metal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to get him into Opeth pre them going 70s prog. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you'll like these guys because there's enough progressive elements in here
Yeah.
and just traditional metal elements. And he was like, nah, I can't get by those vocals. I just can't do it as much as the music is cool. And then I was like, okay, well, check out Heritage because there's no more Death Girls. And then he fucking loved that album.
Yeah.
You know, so you get those people that just can't get by the growls, you know, and I guess for fans of that, it's cool. And then the last one I have is Metallica. Now it's a bit different from what you were saying, Jim. I'm going with Lulu. I'm
Okay.
going with
That's-
Lulu.
That's
What
my
a
pick.
fucking joke of an album, right? Is there anything on that album, any saving grace to that album? And have you, like me, tried to find saving graces on the album from
Yes.
time to time?
Yep.
See, I love Lou Reed.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Lou Reed. Velvet Underground's one of my favorite bands. I love that
Yeah.
band. But
Yeah. But
none
you
of
put the
that is
two
on that
together?
album. Yes.
Yeah. And
It's
it's
like
just
putting- It's like putting sardines on your peanut butter sandwich. That's what I look at.
That's a good way of putting it.
And tell me this, when they were all in the studio doing this thing, collaborating and recording, who the fuck was in there saying, this is awesome? Keep doing this. No one.
No, but I
Because
think
no one will say no to Metallica
I
and
know.
Lou Reed, right?
Yeah.
They were enamored by Lou Reed. I think that's why they did it. And I also think at the time they didn't really have a record label. They were themselves. They were their own record label, right? So
Yeah.
they had no boss, dude. It was just we're gonna do this.
But you know, if you have detractors in the room, there must have been detractors in the room. There must have been guys who were saying to them, this isn't working. And if you didn't listen to those detractors and you risk putting out an album that's career suicide, you must be the richest band in the world and you just don't
See,
give
it
a
wasn't
fuck.
for Metallica though. It's not career suicide because they've already cemented new legacy, right? So it doesn't matter what the fuck they do.
Yeah, that's true. But you don't want a dud in no band wants a dud in their fucking discography. They
Yeah.
already
True.
had a few, you know. But yeah, musically oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they didn't call it Metallica. It wasn't called Metallica, was it not? Was it called
No,
just Lulu?
No, it's just called Lulu.
See,
Yeah,
so that was smart. They didn't go Metallica Lulu. It was
that's true. That's true. That's true. That kind of negates my whole point because I forgot that this is not a Metallica album. It is a Lulu
Yeah,
album.
but still,
Yeah. Yeah.
not good.
Especially when
Yeah.
Metallica is trying to get back in their good graces of their fans. I find, like with Death Magnetic and their latter albums, even the last album there's hints of some okay. Like I rated it a 6 out of 10 only because it's Metallica and I would never rate it.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I lower much lower for me.
I just
Maybe
wouldn't.
4
It's
out of
just
10.
feel like I can't rate it any lower. But
Oh,
just because it's Metallica, but it pissed
I
me off.
can.
I've listened to the album twice and I've never revisited it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
the
pretty
Lulu one,
unlistenable.
you're 100% right. It's another silly side thing. Like
Yeah. I would have preferred they just continued on with Lady Gaga. Maybe did an album with her. At
Oh,
least
yeah.
she's I know. Maybe not.
Terrible.
All right, what do you got, Kenny?
Well, so I have Lulu as well as one of my picks. But that's just because for me, I love Lou Reed. I was always a big fan of the Velvet Underground, And I love that whole period of like late 60s metal. Well, not metal, but like kind of proto rock kind of psychedelic. I like all that stuff. So when you think Metallica coming together with them, you're thinking, no, this could be really good.
Mm.
In theory, I'm just saying in theory. I'm not saying it was in theory.
Yeah, it could be interesting at least.
Yeah, because Metallica, they obviously are enamored by the guy, which is great. I have no problem with that. But yeah, it's like putting sardines on your peanut butter sandwich. I'm sorry, it just I didn't even buy the album and I hated it.
No.
And then my brother-in-law gave it to me as a Christmas present, and I had to like, oh thanks, man, I really appreciate it. I was like, this is a piece of shit.
Now it's got
I never
7
listened
inches
to
of dust
crap.
on it somewhere in the
I just took
corner.
it home. I unwrapped it just out of respect for my brother-in-law, but I will not. I just can't listen to it. It's just I can't. So it's in my collection, but I will never listen to it.
Good.
No
Good.
reason to.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had to put Megadeth on here, man. They had some equally bad stinkers.
What? Trust?
Risk is a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Pure garbage. I don't know
I agree.
what they were thinking. I don't know what was going on there. Some of the vocals are fucking god awful. I was like,
I can't find one song on that album that I can even give the time of day to. That, and I own 2 copies of it.
Yeah. But I also will add on Collider with them because I fucking hate that album too. That album's a
Collider,
shit. It's like,
and what about that album?
What's that?
The album with the World in the title? That one's garbage too. I can't remember the name of it.
World in the title?
Like 2000, 2001. It's like,
World Needs a Hero.
Yeah. Oh.
That's Al Petrelli on guitars on that one.
Yeah.
It's not that great either.
That's not so great either. But Super Collider.
Oh, fucking terrible.
I turn to God. Fuck you, buddy. No. We don't need that in Megadeth. You don't need God. I'm sorry. You might have beliefs.
Was he clean at this point? He must have been.
Yeah, he was clean. And he also, at that time, he came out as like a born-again Christian.
Right, yeah.
When the album. So I think they're 2 of the worst albums ever.
I think we can all agree that Mustaine was his best when he was fucked out of his tree.
Oh, yeah.
And it sucks to say that, but it's when he was at his most creative.
Yeah.
And most brilliant. Yeah.
The first 4 albums? Well, not maybe the first one, but the next.
Somebody slipped that guy some heroin for this last album, please. I know that's a horrible thing to say.
I hope so. I know, but yeah.
I tease.
It's funny because Super Collider came out, and then there was 13 was before that, which was a pretty good album. And Endgame, I love Endgame.
Endgame, I like too.
Then Dystopia, like I don't understand, like it puzzles me what the hell he was thinking, but and everybody, I find people are hard on So Far So Good. That's a killer album.
Well, it's a great album.
One of my favorite albums. Like
Jimmy, that's one of our best viewed podcasts.
Yes,
we did that one. We did super well. People loved it.
Who was on that one? I feel like did I do that one with you guys?
With another?
No. I think you did it on the
other
Metal Pit one. I think you did the Metal Pit one. You did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, it's an incredible album. Yeah,
it's great. And then number 3 is I'm going with Van Halen 3. And I don't mind Gary Sharon. I mean, I like Porno Graffiti. I like Extreme. The good stuff. But I didn't think it worked here with Van Halen. It was like you're trying to do what Hagar did, and believe me, when Hagar took over the band, he took it into a different direction. And I generally like Sammy Hagar and Van Halen. I
love OU812. It's a fucking
me
great
too.
album.
I love the first. I actually absolutely love the first 2 albums he did. They're fantastic. I love them to death. They're so great. But when they brought in Gary Sharon, it was just like a bad version of Hagar.
It was like,
and you'd think it would have done well because I'm a Gary Sharon fan. I like his vocals.
Me too.
It seemingly seemed like it would work, like in theory, but I don't even really know what went wrong. Like it's just shitty songs.
I just he wasn't right for the band.
He was more of a hired gun kind of. Like I don't think
I agree with that, Jimmy.
It didn't feel like okay, you can be a Hagar fan, you can be a Roth fan, and I like both. Roth is my favorite, but Hagar's got a place. But
Yeah.
but like he just didn't seem like he was part of it. It seemed like there was the the three, and then him. It just felt like that. Like
It felt like, yeah, I think to me, it's almost like it was a Van Halen album, but to me, it was like a super group of some sorts,
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Great
Yeah.
way of
Which
describing it.
didn't work. Yeah.
No, it did not
Good
work.
pick. Good pick. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that's a good one.
Well, I remembered it because I know I hated it.
I have it.
I have it too, and I don't like it. I don't
I
get it.
remember wanting to love it. I remember I
Yeah.
was excited
Same
for
here.
it. And yeah,
I wanted to love it too, but I do not.
No.
yeah.
Now the last two are my pure hatred. So we're gonna talk about this. Number one is the worst of all time, but number two, Destruction when they did Human Cannonball.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
I knew you were
What
going
a
to put that on there.
total fucking disaster that album is. Horrible album cover in the kind of Hugh Simon kind of style. The vocals sound like Pantera a little bit. It's like Pantera meets art house rock. I don't know what the fuck Mike was thinking, but you need to give your head a shake because that's a piece of shit. Sorry.
Creator did one.
But I actually don't mind the Creator one.
Yeah.
Endorama, I actually like Endorama.
It's the industrial elements in there that make it kind of cool,
yes.
But
I mean, I don't mind. I like Renewal, even though Renewal's
okay. Yeah.
I like that too. I don't mind it, but Destruction, no, it goes against everything that band stood for in my mind, and I just
But okay, why does Creator get a pass but Destruction doesn't?
Oh no, Destruction's
because I guess well, I didn't think Endorama was a bad album. Yeah, it's kind of like goth rock.
Yeah,
but I generally like the way it's structured. I like the music and I like the vocals.
So Destruction just didn't pull it off for you.
No,
you're okay with them experimenting, but they just didn't.
Well, they can experiment, but
Destruction's also your favorite Teutonic thrash metal band.
Yes, Destruction is one of my favorite bands. They would be in my top 5 if I had.
Oh, you took it personally.
Yeah, because I did, because it's garbage.
It is.
Fanny, do they actually? Do they like the album? Do they talk about it?
No. They just owned it. I mean, Schmier wasn't even on the album. He left the band. It was just Mike. And everyone he had on that album was just fucking awful.
It's hard to find. It's a hard to find album.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it anyways. I don't even want it in my collection. That's how much I hate it. Don't want it.
And people slag Cold Lake. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Cold Lake is,
light years better. Yeah.
Way better. And then number 1 for me is the crime of the century, In Flames. I fucking hate In Flames. They were one of my favorite Swedish metal death bands.
Up to when?
Well, I up until like Clayman, and then when they did Reroute to Remain, they started to do the experiment. I still bought the albums, believe it or not. I actually bought. This is like I have a glutton for punishment. I bought all this shitty fucking shit that they did afterwards. I still bought it, but then I started to realize this is garbage. I don't even like this shit. It's not even the band that I liked way back at the start.
It's
do you like the last
toast.
album?
What's that, Jimmy?
Do you like the last album? I like Foregone.
I do like Foregone.
Yeah.
We'll say that Foregone.
But you're right.
Was somewhat of a return to the past. Now they brought Chris Broderick in, so that helped.
They're like exactly kind of like, not musically or anything, but just the way their pattern went was kind of like Opeth, kind of.
Yes,
they're pablum to me. They're pablum. Like they had a long stretch of pablum-y albums.
Yes.
Like when they changed their logo to look like Korn's logo, I was like,
yes.
You obviously targeting the fucking new metal crowd or the new metal resurgence.
That is what it is. Yeah.
But I mean, like, their first like 5 albums are all great to me. In my mind, I love Horacle, Jester Race, Colony's great.
Colony's a good one.
I like.
I always thought they were an overrated band, but that's just me.
Did you? Yeah.
I think they're good, but I just, even the early albums, I'm not a huge fan of. But
you're funny because Billy has the same opinion.
Yeah.
He doesn't like them either. Like he's not. I asked Billy. He's like, he says he never really got into them. But
I don't hate them, but I'm just like, I could live without them,
They changed their logo on a sense of purpose. It looks like Korn. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
it's
it.
awful. I bought that album
Yeah.
and I never listened to it.
That album sold like really well too.
I know
That was the whole point, I think, of switching the logo and
True.
yeah,
going
and
that
the
route.
style. They
Yeah.
made money. They actually made money. They've admitted it that they actually started to make money with the style change. They weren't making the money with the Mellow Death.
Yeah.
And maybe that goes to your point, Jason, that maybe they were just, to a lot of people, just, meh as a Mellow Death fan. I don't know. I mean, they appeal to me. I like the sound, but everyone's got a different take on that style of music.
I will say their fans are hardcore, like they're true
Yeah.
fans, and they stick by them thick and thin. And that's cool that they have that kind of fan base. And I mean, it comes from being around now, what, 30 years at least. So you got to give it to them. The guys work hard.
And I think Miles is a big fan of In Flames.
He is. Yeah. It's his
Miles is the
favorite
big,
band.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I agree with you, Ken. 100% agree with you. And I like their first 4 or 5, right to not Colony, Mud. What was the one? Mud. The one right after Colony in 2000.
Clayman. They did Clayman.
Yeah, Clayman. I like that one. Mudman, I was calling it.
The change started on Reroute to Remain is when they started to make that change.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Is that the white cover with clouds on it?
The white cover. Yeah,
the white cover. It's got sort of like an impressionistic painting style.
Yeah. I actually don't mind that album. I think that's probably my.
I don't mind it either.
Yeah.
But when you listen to
you can hear
the
beginning of the
making
change.
That change, right?
Yeah.
And then they just made it sounds of a playground fading. Yeah, bye. They did it.
Yeah.
But I love them. I thought they were a great band, but I can't get into them. Sorry.
No, you're not 15 and wearing baggy fucking
that's fucking true.
pants.
Because that's who they appeal to now, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was that dude in the late 90s. I loved Korn and fucking Limp Bizkit.
Did you? Yeah.
Oh, dude, but it's when that shit came around. I just got sucked up in it for a few years, and now I couldn't be bothered. But I mean, we all go through transitions, right?
Oh yeah.
You always come back to the real shit, though. If you're true, you always come back.
Yeah, you're right. That's fair to say.
It's true.
So maybe In Flames will come back. Who knows?
I liked their last album. I thought it was worth buying, and I rated it.
I bought the last album as well.
Yeah.
I have it because I like Chris Broderick in general.
Yeah.
I think he is a pretty solid guitar player. So I thought, well, he brought something a bit different that they were lacking on the last 3 or 4.
And it reminded me of a resurgence like of Prong's last album. I love Prong's last.
Oh yeah, it's a great album.
record.
Yeah, I love that album too.
I bet Prong put out some great albums, as we all know. But
they've had some missteps too.
They have. Yeah.
But that last album was good.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's a return.
I love that album a lot. Yeah. I bought that and I totally loved it.
Yeah.
But I'm not generally disappointed with Prong. Like for me, they've had a good career and the majority of their music is great.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy Victor is interesting, and everyone in that band has gone on to do things. They've all worked with Ministry and Al Jorgensen. So I mean, they've all contributed to good music in general, in my mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
Totally love those guys. So that was cool, guys. That was a pretty good discussion.
That was a fun. I love that. That was a fun conversation.
Yeah,
I'm angry, but I'm happy at the same time.
Yeah, it's always good to hear what turns you off and what like gets you going.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much of that. Interesting.
And it tied in well with the theme.
Sorry, Jason, I gave away Opeth ahead of time. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. We knew it was coming. Someone was going to have it. So.
Yeah, I didn't, but I mean, I thought of putting it on my list. But,
I like that we had a pretty diverse selection of stuff. Yeah.
I was trying to think of bands that I know sort of, committed that cardinal sin and did something that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
It happens.
It'll be interesting to see what we come up with next week for the ending. So I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And speaking of endings, Jim, you have next week's pick. Go ahead.
we're gonna go with, we're gonna get a room with a view, and we're gonna go with Death Angels 1990 Act 3. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing about it is it's the only release I think on Geffen Records. So this is a
That's
masterpiece.
right.
Yeah, this is a wicked,
Fucking
wicked
right.
I
album.
love this album.
Yeah.
We're gonna peel that curtain back and
Yeah. Yeah.
take a look.
Jason was saying earlier, was like, what's behind that curtain? I'm like, that's a good fucking question. What is
It's
behind
like what album is it? Oh God, you did the album from Deicide where you've got the body underneath. I think it's Christ.
Oh, Once
underneath.
Upon the Cross.
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
man, that's what.
Just
that's
peel
like.
that shit. Actually, the original artwork didn't have the blanket, but then
really?
Roadrunner was like, they got shit. They were like,
Yeah, you did a podcast on it, didn't you, Jason?
I think Jason's.
Oh, we lost him. Oh no,
we lost Jason.
no.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Oh, he's back. You're back.
Have you seen what's under that blanket, Jim?
No, I haven't.
So it's Jesus Christ dissected on a gurney.
I thought so.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, like very scientific. He's like cut open, and they have.
I think it's brilliant. That's a brilliant cover.
Yeah, but I think it's even that's brilliant. But it was even more brilliant to put the sheet over it because
I thought it was because I want to see what's under it.
Yeah. So you just need to open it up, and it's there. Yeah.
That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we had this talk. We finally, Jason and I finally got this thing going. We've been talking for more than a year. This is like more than a year that we've actually been talking about this.
Glad we did. It turned out good. Yeah.
Absolutely, it did. Of course it did. All right, guys. Well, we'll sign off, and we'll see everybody next week.
Awesome. See you next week, guys.
All right. Take care.